everybody, welcome back. It's Mark with Exotic Car Play Place, sitting beside my BMW E60 M5. I know a lot of you guys have been waiting for E60 content. Here it is again. So we're gonna get started today. Today's video, really, we're gonna talk about the whole Uber thing. Uber, do you think I should Uber my car? I mean, it's very popular. You see a lot of guys online doing it now. It's, you know, there may be some profit margin in that. I'm not sure. Some of it's for exposure and some of it's just for the sheer fun of it. But there's a few platforms now for car sharing. And I'm going to share some of those with you. But before we get started in this, guys, make sure if you haven't already got some of your merchandise here from Exotic Car Play Place, don't forget to click down on the link you'll notice in the description below. There's a hot link that will take you directly to the store. There's hats, shirts, jackets. You'll love it. So some great selection there. Check it out. So let's get rolling. So there's really two major platforms right now for car sharing. One of them being Uber, which is sort of the originator. And now there's a newer one called Lyft. And of course, it's another one of these platforms that allows people to, you know, get on a network, essentially, dial up a number and get picked up by a non-cab type car. And you have a little better selection. You don't have to ride in the stinky yellow cabs of yesterday. Maybe you want to get into something that's a little more clean, something that people take care of and they enjoy. And so it's their own car, and often people treat it accordingly. Now, I thought about possibly running this in Uber, but there's a few things that you have to consider. So there's 6 basic criteria that allow you to enter your car and qualify as an Uber driver. Your car, not every car can qualify. For example, if you have a Lamborghini, as much as and fun as it is to make videos on Uber with a Lamborghini, it's just not the way it is. They don't allow that. We have here a 4-door sedan of a substantial size and girth. These are the type of cars that Uber and Lyft really, you know, promote. So as I mentioned, there's Uber and there's Lyft, but there's a third one and it's being trial run right now. And before we get to that, I just want to share with you. So Uber and Lyft really essentially are, you know, you pay sort of a more or less a flat rate. You know, you call for a ride, Uber picks you up based on whatever that predetermined value is. You get your ride, you go home. Now, as the driver and owner of the car, you take a percentage, while Uber Corporation takes the rest. The downside, of course, with Uber and Lyft being when you have a car like this and you actually care about your car, it can often expose your car to things like drunks that are puking in the back, people kicking the backs of the seats, damaging the interior. You know, a lot of times people don't care that much. It's like a cab, they throw their junk in there and go. So that's a potential exposure that you have to subject or be willing to subject your car to. So that's one thing. Of course, the profit margin is marginal at best. So the other thing you want to consider, of course, is you're driving your E60 M5 or any other BMW for that matter, you're going to put miles on it. Miles means wear and tear. Wear and tear means maintenance. And of course, ownership costs go way through the roof. E60 M5, we know already inherently does not love high miles. It is a maintenance pig. And so as a result, this is always something to consider when you're driving your E60 M5, or really any premium car brand is going to cost you a little extra to maintain and keep it on the road. Now that being said, so let's get back to the 6 things to consider. After that, I will talk to you about that third option. So the 6 things you have to consider. Number 1, the first factor is that car has to be 4 doors. So just like an M5 right here, it has to have 4 doors. And of course, a trunk is ideal. 4 doors is mandatory. It also has to have 5 seat belts. So it has to essentially equip the driver, a passenger, and 3 in the back. There has to be 3 operating, functional, healthy, and reliable seat belts. So like this is a 4-door with the M5. So you've got your front seats, 2 in the front. As well, you open up the back. Now you have seating for 5. As well as you'll notice, there's 3 seat belts in the back. You need this as one of the basics for the Uber requirements. Another item is the vehicle cannot be a salvage vehicle. So there can't be a history of salvage issues with the car. They want, essentially, Uber and Lyft, they want cars representing the brand that are not damaged and do not pose an additional hazard to customers. Another thing that you have to consider is mandatory for Uber, essentially, is it can't be a brand, a commercial brand. So I can't be driving around this and have Joe's Electric on the side of the car. That's not allowed. You can't be advertising other things. Uber has their brand stick that they want on there. You have to stick with that. You can't be running this for other commercial reasons, and therefore it's basically just your commercial, your own personal vehicle that you're utilizing under the Uber brand. And as well, the vehicle needs to pass an inspection. And the last thing, so the sixth thing that you have to consider, the car has to be less than 10 years old. Well, see, now that's where I'm more or less hooped, because this car actually is a 2006 that puts me at 12 years old. If I had the later generation, say an '09 or an '10 M5, I would be okay. I'd be good to rock and roll. The vehicle cannot be more than 10 years of age. That's the other factor, the criteria that has to satisfy Uber and their business. So saying that, Uber has an upscale version of this service, the car sharing service. And of course, if you're just running this, pounding on the miles, and you're just doing it for the base charge, you probably don't want to use an M5. But they have like Uber Lux, and they have the premium Uber Black. They have these other versions of Uber that cater to a higher end clientele, where you, the driver, the owner, can as well command a higher dollar for the ride. That's more likely the way you want to go, and reduce the amount of just random short burst calls that you get in your M5 or any other BMW for that matter. There's a third one, and this one is most appealing to me. It's actually part of Reach Now, which is essentially another car sharing app that BMW is actually specifically hosting, and it's modeling in Seattle, Washington. Now, it's trying it in Seattle, obviously, for the high percentage of professional riders that they might have. I personally think that, as a pilot, Seattle might work, but New York, San Francisco's a big one, but they're piloting this in Seattle. And what it is essentially is a subsidiary of BMW, catering to, again, a higher end clientele, specifically utilizing the BMW product. Now, the difference here, of course, is you don't have to sustain the damage, the wear, the tear. You as a driver collect your hourly rate. They themselves basically take on the share and the risk of, the share of the damages, the maintenance, and take on essentially the risk. But they are trying this now, and this is what's especially appealing to me. BMW is getting in on this market on the northwest part of the continent. So that in itself is very appealing. There's been discussions if this works. Is it willing? Are they willing to build this out into other parts? Well, I'll tell you right now, I'm up in Canada. They don't have anything like that here as far as I'm aware. Hey, here's a business idea. Maybe I can be the franchisee up here in Canada. Just a thought. Anybody willing to throw that my way, I might consider it. But yes, it's not yet kicked off here in Canada. They're trying it in the States. After that, if it's successful, they may bring that to Canada. Like everything, we're a little bit delayed up here on that sense. Now, this particular situation operates different. It's not operating on the premise of volume sales, volume pickups, short, small dollar volumes. This is higher dollars, higher end clientele, and they're really essentially charging more, but giving you the premium car experience riding in a BMW, kind of like an M5 we have here. So that is a great new business model that BMW is trying to get involved with here. And I believe there may be a market up here in Canada as well. What do you guys think? Is this something worth getting in on? Or is it better just to maybe try this in the Uber deal? Now, we already said, I know my car's a little too old, but I'm also looking for some other options. I've been shopping for 335s and such. I've got an X5 as well. That would obviously fit the bill as well because it's a bit newer. So what do you guys think? I want to hear from you guys. Is this a worthwhile operation getting into the Uber land with your BMW? Love to hear your comments below. And as always, make sure you give me a thumbs up, share, and subscribe to the channel. Love to see you guys real soon. See you then. Bye-bye.